feel like this year compared to last year, like honestly, a lot more like variety could happen. Like teams, like I feel like last year everyone knew like the Celtics were going to be in the finals or at least like in the conference finals, but this year, especially in the West, it feels like anybody, like really any of these teams, 1 to 7, like you could make a case that they come out the West, which makes the NBA like really exciting this year for the playoffs, man. Because last year that was a big problem. A lot of people knew it'd be the Celtics, and then if not them on the other side, they thought the Nuggets, and if not the Nuggets, then it's just like the Mavericks or the Timberwolves. But I don't think this is the same this year. We're gonna start on the East side because I think the East is a lot easier, and I have a lot more that I want to talk about on the West than on the East. So we'll start with that, and we'll just start. We'll start at the top. I'm a Heat fan. I think the Heat are gonna win this playing game. And if they do win this play-in game against the Atlanta Hawks and they get matched up with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they did beat the Cavs in the regular season. And also, I think the Heat, they have a better coach. They have like a history of proven winning. I don't think I'm being biased by saying this, but I do think the Heat will at least get a game off of them. I'm going to give it a hot take, and I'm going to say that the Heat win 2 games in this series. And then that takes us to the next one, Pacers Bucks. This is a tough one. As I'm making this video, Damian Lillard just got cleared to play, I believe, or at least cleared to like practice to play during the playoffs. Okay, so he misses game 1. He might miss game 2. He's probably back by game 3, I'd say, when they get back home. They say in the series that the series really starts when a road team wins. A lot of people have the Bucks winning this series. The Pacers are one of the hottest teams in the league right now. So I think 66-34 is kind of crazy. I thought this would be closer to 50-50. I feel like this is kind of a tough series to predict. But this is a really important one for the Bucks with Giannis and Dame because they kind of went all in when they got that core. And so far in the year 2, it hasn't paid off. I know they had injuries when they played the Pacers last year, but I think the Bucks are really desperate to win this series. The Pacers are a red hot team. Pascal Siakam's a proven playoff performer. Tyrese Halliburton's been really great. He's averaging like 19 and like 11 since the All Star break, which is insane. They still got Miles Turner. They got good role players like Andrew Nembhard. This is gonna be a really fun series. I think a lot of like offense oriented. Honestly, I could see it going either way, but I think when you factor in the Pacers, they have more depth in this team. The Bucks are really top heavy, and it might take a game or two to kind of get his feet under him because he's been out for a while now. I think because of that, I think by the time the Bucks get going, it's going to be too late. I got the Pacers winning this one in 6. Knicks Pistons. A lot of people in the East are excited about this series. I think of all the East series, I think this is the one to be most excited about. Um, Pistons are never in the playoffs. It's cool to see them. They had an incredible year. No one thought they'd make it this year. Cade Cunningham's great. If Cade Cunningham can be the best player in this series, the Pistons have a chance, and I don't think that's insane to say. Jalen Brunson's obviously great. He's kind of been a little on and off lately. He's a proven playoff performer, though. So the Pistons have that working against them. Cat has been great for him. He's not good on defense, but he gets a lot of boards. He stretches the floor. I mean, the starting lineup of the Knicks might be the best in the league, and then they have a little bit of depth. They only play like 7 to 8 guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The Pistons are missing Jaden Ivey. They have been for a while, and that's probably their second best player on the team. Malik Beasley is going to be 6 man of the year, probably off the bench. He's averaging like 17 points a game. Was second in the league in 3-point makes. I just don't think the Pistons have enough, especially with the Knicks. They don't go deep in their rotation. Like they're going to have a lot of their starters on the floor for most of the series, knowing a Tom Thibodeau team. They just have that experience in coach. They have experience in playoffs. As fun as I think the Pistons can make this series, I just don't think they have a shot unless Cade Cunningham is the best player on that team, and I'm not gonna put my money on that. I'm gonna take the Knicks I'm gonna say 6. I don't think this goes 7, but I do think they can make it a little interesting. I don't know why it puts me to top every time. It's kind of annoying. And then Celtics Magic is the last one in the East. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. 99% for a reason. I do see a lot of people saying the Magic, like on Twitter, can win this series. And I mean, with Jaylen Brown, like, kind of having injury concerns, I guess that's not an insane thing to say. But I don't think the Magic have enough offense to keep up with these guys. They're a good defensive team, but it's kind of like the Heat playing them last year, where they just didn't have enough offense to keep up when he didn't have Jimmy Butler. I'm taking the Celtics. I'm gonna be bold and call it a sweep. So over to the West, we got the Thunder, and then we don't know who they're playing. We'll find out today, I believe. Actually, that might be tomorrow. If it's Memphis matches up with them a little bit better. They have Jaren Jackson. They have more size. Ja Morant can defend when he wants to. Desmond Bain can as well. They've kind of given them some hard times in the past, but even if it's Memphis, I don't think they're going to beat the Thunder. I just think they can actually get a game off of them, maybe two best scenario. I'm going to take the Thunder in 5. Lakers Timberwolves first, man. I'm kind of surprised that it's 88-12. I feel like that's a little disrespectful for Minnesota. On paper, I do think Minnesota can compete with this team because on paper, Julius Randle's a really good regular season player. But being a Heat fan, Julius Randle's never the same player in the playoffs. He's always folded against the Heat. I don't see why that would be any different now. And Mike Conley is a big leader on this Minnesota team. He's getting older. It's basically going to be Anthony Edwards versus the world in this series, unless Randle actually snaps out of it and steps up, which I'm not counting on. And for that reason, I'm taking the Lakers. I'm going to take them in 6. But if there is a world where Julius Randle steps up and actually plays well, then that could be in a more interesting series. Rockets Warriors. I like. Is this one the most even? No, it's not. Rockets Warriors. It's crazy that the Warriors are favored in this series, being a 7 seed facing a 2 seed, but the Rockets, of course, are a really young team, so a lot of people don't think they're ready. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I don't think they are either, to be frank. I think the Warriors, they have the experience with the coaching, they have the experience with the players, top to bottom. Jimmy Butler looks like he's going to step it back up and be a real force for them in the playoffs. And if he is, like, the sky is the limit for the Warriors, if that's the case. Whereas the Rockets, I mean, Ime Udoka is a good coach for him. He coached the Celtics to the finals when they went in 2022 before they lost to the Warriors. But that team also had a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart was on that team. A lot of good players, right? I just don't think the Rockets are there just yet, especially with this tough draw round 1. So I'm taking the Warriors. We're going to go with. I'll give the Rockets a game. Saying 5. Nuggets Clippers. This is the best series of the first round. I think by far. I've gone I've gone back and forth on this one a good bit. Game 1 is here in Denver on Saturday at 1 p.m. I will be at game 1. I'm very excited. I haven't been that excited for a game since the Minnesota game 1 last year. I think both of these are going to be a really good series. I think this is going to go 6 or 7 either way. I could go more in depth on this one, honestly. So the Nuggets, you obviously have Nikola Jokic. He's the best player in the league. You got Jamal Murray. You still got MPJ. You still got Aaron Gordon. You still have the core of the team. But the problem is Jamal Murray hasn't been that good really since the Minnesota series. He had a couple games in the Minnesota series where he was really good. But since then, he kind of coasted in a regular season, which is fine, right? Because for the early part of the 2020s, when the playoffs started, Jamal Murray would turn into like a 25, 27 point a game score and like a borderline superstar, right? Last year, we didn't see that in the playoffs. So if the Nuggets are going to have a chance to go far in this Western Conference that's this loaded, Jamal has to get back to form, back to finals form. because they don't have the depth that they had on those championship teams anymore. They don't have Contavious Caldwell Pope. They don't have Jeff Green. As much of a meme that is to say, he was a really good player for them. They don't have Bruce Brown. Shout out Miami Hurricanes. So you need your top guys to really impact the game. They do have Russ off the bench. Russ is up and down. When he's up, he's really good for him. When he's down, he could hurt you, but he is a difference maker off the bench for them, which they don't have enough of. um, on the Clippers side of thing, the Clippers got Kawhi Leonard, and I think a lot of people forget about how good Kawhi Leonard is in the playoffs when he's not hurt. When that fool plays and he's not hurt in the playoffs, Kawhi Leonard is one of the best players in the league. And he can defend. I think he's older now. I don't think he's going to be taking like assignments like Jamal Murray. I just don't see that. But that's the thing with the Clippers. They have a lot of wing players. James Harden, for I mean, James Harden's one of the most controversial players in the league. A lot of people say he steps down in the playoffs, and honestly, sometimes he does. But the last time we saw him in the playoffs playing anywhere near like as well as he did during this regular season was the Philadelphia Boston series where they lost in seven. James Harden won them 2 games that series. He dropped 45 in game one, and then I think it was game 4 or 5 where he dropped 40 again and helped them win that game. If the Clippers get 1 or 2 of those games out of him, it's very hard to imagine they don't win the series. And I still haven't talked about Ivica Zubac, who should be in most improved player conversation. He's not going to be, but he's averaging like 17 points, 13 rebounds. He's a 7 footer. Nobody in the league can guard Jokic, but if you can slow him down even just a little bit, that makes the series a lot harder for Denver. They still have Norman Powell, who averaged over 20 points a game and kind of carried the offense with Harden until Kawhi got back. Before Kawhi got back, this was still a playoff team, which shows what their depth is. They still have other role players. They have really good defenders. I'm assuming someone like Chris Dunn will probably be taking Jamal Murray and just hounding him on defense for most of this series. This is the toughest one to pick. I've gone back and forth, but I can't count with the Nuggets also firing Mike Malone. I haven't even got to Mike Malone, bruh. They're playing really well post Mike Malone, but the fact of the matter is they do have an interim coach, bro, versus Ty Lue, who I mean he's an NBA champ with LeBron, so like that doesn't mean as much. But Ty Lue is a well-respected coach. He is a factor. I think he's gonna outcoach the Nuggets interim coach. I don't think that's a hot take. I think with all this stuff in mind, the Nuggets need to have a really good. Nuggets need to play like the best basketball they played all season if they're gonna beat this Clippers team. And if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna bet that they don't do that. I'm gonna take the Clippers to win this series in 7 games. Cavs, Pacers. I'm not gonna give much conversation to this one. As good as the Pacers are playing, Cavs were the 1 seed in the East for a reason, man. They got Mobley, who can switch up and pick up Halliburton if needed. He'll probably even take Siakam for most of the series. They still got Donovan Mitchell, who's proven to step up in the playoffs. Uh, I think the Pacers can get a game or two off these guys. I don't think they're going to win. I got the Cavs in, I'll say 6. Knicks, Celtics. So I wonder if this percentage is like as in the like correlated to this matchup. Because if it is, that surprises me. Um, I think the Knicks this summer really built their team around the idea of of like contending, of course, but also around the concept of beating the Celtics. The Celtics are the team to beat in the East, similar to what the Timberwolves did last year. You know, they traded for guys like they picked up Towns, they signed Gobert. That's because they knew Denver was going to be like the team to beat in the West for a little while. That's what they did, and I mean, it worked for them. That's what the Knicks tried to do this offseason. They brought in Towns to get more offense to space the floor. They brought in Mikal Bridges this offseason as well. Traded a lot to get him, but you still got Josh Hart, who's a good role player. Still got Brunson, obviously, Miles McBride. Got a lot of good players. Mitchell Robinson's back as well. So you got a lot of guys for sure. On the Celtics are the same team, really. I was saying that the Timberwolves kind of assembled that team to beat the Nuggets, and it worked. I just don't think it works for the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks can do that and beat this team running like 7 to 8 players, knowing a Boston's depth. But Boston can easily go 10 deep and feel pretty comfortable with it. The Knicks also haven't beat the Celtics in any of their 4 meetings this year. For that reason, I'm going with the Celtics. Um, Celtics will take them in. Okay, I think it's gonna be 5 games, bro. Like I don't think the Knicks are that crazy. We'll go Thunder Clippers first. I really like the Thunder or the Clippers team on paper, if that's not obvious. But they're 0-4 against the Thunder this year. The last time they played last season, they also lost to them. Are the Clippers a better team? Yeah, since like last season for sure. But I just don't. The matchup clearly isn't there for the Clippers. I think if they do beat that Nuggets team, they're going to be exhausted. Whereas the Thunder, I mean, they're going to get their series done pretty quick, more than likely. They'll be well rested. They know how to beat this Clippers team. They've done it 4 times this year. I think the Clippers team is really good, but I think their season comes to an end here. It's just a tough matchup for them. I got the Thunder in 6. Lakers Warriors. This is what the whole NBA world wants to see. Honestly, those two markets in California battling out, and this would be a fun series for sure. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry versus LeBron James, Luka Doncic. You got a lot of good role players in there. You got Austin Reeves. You got Pods. Draymond Green still in the Warriors, who might even win Defensive Player of the Year. This will be a fun series. I've seen a lot of people pick both ways against this. So my thought process is with the Warriors, you got Curry, you got Butler. Are you going to be able to get enough offense with somebody else to compete with this Lakers team? So the Lakers, you got LeBron, you got Luka. You do have Draymond Green to guard one of those guys. Who are you going to put on the other one? And it's probably not even going to be able to guard Luka. It probably won't matter. Um, you're going to need old Jimmy Butler. You're going to need about like 25, 28 a game from Curry, which isn't that crazy. But I don't think the Lakers, I think the Lakers have too many scorers, especially Austin Reeves being as underrated as it is. I think they have too many scores to really like make the Warriors competent in this series, if that makes sense. Is there a world the Warriors win this? I'm completely wrong. Yeah, absolutely. But I got the Lakers winning this one at 6. Conference Finals. Cavs Celtics, the 1-2 seed. I think at the beginning of the year, everybody thought this would have been Celtics Knicks because of how much better Knicks got with additions. But the Cavs kind of came out of nowhere, and honestly, since probably the start of 2025, everyone's kind of expected this, and I think that's a valid expectation. I think that'll happen. The Celtics are the team to beat in this series. I think, as far as the season matchup goes, I believe Boston's beat them more. So yeah, it's an even split, which is nice. I mean, that helps me think it'll be a good series. I do think the series will go 6 or 7. I haven't watched these guys play each other. I just know like what their teams look like. The Cavs got Mobley and Allen at center. That might make it a little harder for guys that want to go to the rim. But the problem is the Celtics team shoots the three so well that might not matter. And because of that, it's kind of a bad matchup for the Cavaliers. They can shoot 1 through 5 basically with anybody on the court. They got Porzingis, and that's bad news for the Cavs because as good of a team they are defensively, Jarrett Allen and Donovan Mitchell kind of carry that, whereas Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland kind of weigh it down a bit. Obviously, they carry the offense, but you can kind of look for those guys on defense. I think Mitchell can play when he really wants to, but he's going to be carrying the load offensively. I just think top to bottom, although these two are the best teams in the East and have the most depth, Boston's proven they probably are a little bit better at the top, and they're definitely a little bit better at the bottom. I do like the DeAndre Hunter acquisition at the deadline for the Cavs. I imagine that's who they use to guard Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Um, but I'm taking the Celtics here. I'm going to take the Celtics in 6 games. Thunder Lakers. This would be a really fun conference finals. Uh, Young Thunder team versus kind of a mixed Lakers team, right? You got some older veterans in there. You got LeBron, and then you got a lot of older guys like Gabe Vincent, if he even gets meaningful minutes. But then you got younger guys like Luca, Austin Reeves, Hachimura still young, Vanderbilt. This would be a good series. This would probably be my second favorite series in the West outside of that first Nuggets Clippers series, if I had to guess. This could be a good one too. But this is a tough one to pick. So, from the Thunder side, the Lakers on paper don't really have a great matchup for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Lakers are a good defensive team still, even without Anthony Davis and adding Luka Doncic. They've proven they can still be one of the better defensive teams in the league. They don't have an answer for Shai. I think the biggest problem or the biggest question for the Thunder is how good Jalen Williams can be in this series. Jalen Williams was an all-star for the Thunder this year. He's the second best player on the team. He might even be an all-NBA player. Given the fact they won 68 games, I'd guess he's going to be all-NBA. But it's hard to say. There's a lot of good players this year. They have other good players, right? Obviously, they have Luguentz Dort that could bother a guy like Luka Doncic. I mean, we've seen it before in the past. They've tried that. But I mean, he beat it last year with the Mavericks, man, against the same Thunder team. And if that's the case, you're basically taking Luka Doncic from that Mavericks team. Instead of Kyrie, you got LeBron. You don't have a center. I mean, you have Jackson Hayes. You don't have. If you had Mark Williams from the Hornets, this would be a completely different conversation. But I just don't think the Thunder have enough guys defensively to guard Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. I do think this will be a 6 or 7 game series where like really like a couple plays can make the difference in the series. And Shai's gonna be the MVP. He could very well be that guy, but the Lakers have LeBron James, a top 2 player of all time, if not one. And then you have Luka Doncic, who, when you factor in just all 3 levels of scoring, is probably the best scorer in the league. And you still got Austin Reeves as well. So with that in mind, I'm gonna take the Lakers in 7, but this is probably one of the toughest ones to pick. For the finals, we get what the league's been wanting probably for like the last 10 years since they had it in 2009. We get the Lakers Celtics rivalry renewed, man. And this would be a really cool series. It would be the Celtics against Luka again, only Luka's got, I mean, I just said this for the last argument, but Luka's got LeBron, Austin Reeves. So that would be a kind of cool thing to see, right? Like kind of the two like big name guys going against each other, just completely different teams. The Celtics, top to bottom, probably have the best roster in the league. Jaylen Brown is kind of having an injury question right now. From what I'm understanding, he's going to be okay and hopefully doesn't re aggravate it. Sometimes he looks like the best player on that team during the playoffs. He'll definitely have his games where he takes over. You'll have a couple Derek White games in there, right? You might even have like a Porzingis game in there where he goes and gets you like 20, 25. Porzingis was big for them in last year's finals. Games 1 and 2, he came out, gave them like 20 points each game. The Lakers, though, I think the Lakers got guys that can do that too, man. I mean, you got a lot of shooters on the Lakers. Jackson Hayes is a good lob threat, but you still got LeBron who can really step it up when you need him to. He always has been able to in the playoffs in the biggest moments. You got Luka, who will probably get you more efficient scoring in this series than in the Mavericks one, if I had to guess. Because when Luka was on the Mavericks last year, obviously still had Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie just wasn't shooting the ball well in that finals. I think Kyrie was just tired, kind of from carrying the load in the Thunder series and the Timberwolves series. But I just think the Lakers will have. I think the Lakers just have more than the Celtics will at the end of the series. I am a Heat fan. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Celtics winning again this year. Um, but I do think a lot of teams in the West can compete with them, which is a shame because when you look at the Eastern Conference, bro, like I think the only team that can actually compete with these guys is the Cavaliers. I don't think really anybody else can make it very interesting. So by the time the finals happen, it could be similar to last year where the Celtics are a really well rested team. And when by the time the Mavericks got there, they were kind of gassed, right? Like I'm not saying the Celtics weren't a better team, but they were well rested, and the Mavericks definitely didn't really feel like it. So yeah, it's gonna be a good series, man. I think it can definitely go either way. I'm gonna pick the Lakers to get it done, man. I think just LeBron and Luca at the top. I think it's just a lot to handle, bro. I think it's a lot of scoring to handle, man. But we're either way, we're in for a really fucking good playoffs, man. Like I'm excited.